Alright, so this is the second part. You might notice immediately that, hey, there's a big stack there, and you may notice at the bottom that Britannia has shown up. And you might have seen earlier over there that France has sent some ships. So this is a lot more serious than I originally thought. Here I pull up some boats from Nicomedia, because I need them. Right there, there's some French boats. Theoretically, I've got enough troops over here to actually deal with things. If I can get everything in place at once so I don't get, you know, my individual stacks killed. I can't, you know, land on enemies anymore because of the attrition penalty, but, you know, you can still land close and do stuff that way. Works out just fine. And then, of course, you know, the attacking penalty if they actually get landed on the scene. There's like 20,000 dudes there now. And I'm going to land on somebody anyway. Here because I wasn't paying attention. And so I've got most of my troops in the same area now. I still have those ones over there, but here I'm realizing that. And that should deal with the problem. I have Georgia join the crusade. That's good. It's up to 9% war score now. Oddly enough, they're going to a province that already has dudes in it, but that's fine. So, I was mistaken in that I didn't think a bunch of dudes were going to show up, and they did. And now, well, I have to deal with the consequences of that miscalculation. We capture dudes. You know, that works out for us. Here I decided to split them up a little bit again, just to get rid of some of these smaller stacks. And I noticed there that Georgia is moving in. So I leave a smaller group there to help deal with them, so that I can direct them around. And I start sending them south. So basically I've got two groups now. The ones I'm sending south and the ones that are still up there. Capture a dude, that's excellent. I'm up to 13% war score now. You know, those 1,000 boats are just sitting there eating away at my money there. I don't know how much of that is actually going to do something. And here, Britannia kind of miscalculates and lands on a group, and they're actually losing because of it. So, that was a mistake on their part. But they have lots and lots of troops. We've killed like, maybe, I don't know, 50,000 guys. I'm rolling at 16% war score. I keep wondering who these blue cross guys are, but that's Amalfi, I believe. So I decided it's a good idea to put some dudes in charge over here, because well, if I ever run into a bigger thing. And here I decided to put Maziar in charge of something, even though that's probably not necessarily a good plan. Because, you know, I could get him killed. He's actually pretty expendable, though. And a successful jihad for Africa. I'm looking, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, hang on. Nothing changed about Africa. Look at him. It's still the same. Everything's fine. I don't know what was going on with that. Successful jihad for Africa would normally indicate that they would take all of the Kingdom of Africa, but that didn't happen. I guess I have no idea what was going on there. And what about another stack? And I said, well, I don't need that there. Let's go attack these French guys. splitting our stacks a little bit more. And again here, we're mostly in good shape. Just need to keep an eye on that little stack down there on Iboya, or however you pronounce that. And then get another assassination thing. I'm certain that that's because they're not allowed to go to war for things. So they just try to assassinate each other. Because it doesn't seem to happen as often. I guess it's just because I have such a big empire. But I've never had it happen that often before. Not with the frequency that it currently has. And I'm like, oh, who's this guy? And I realized, well, yeah, that's, I arranged that earlier. So that's fine. And I call in some allies for the war, but I actually don't, I don't think. I'm surprised that Byzantium never gets in on these. I guess they think it's a bad idea, but I mean, it's not like you can take anything from them if they fail. Britannia sends 7,000 more guys. And capture another guy, and I decided to send that guy to the Amulet. I don't remember if he actually dies or not. Alright, capture another Earl. Which, as you might remember, is the British Isles version of a count. I'm chasing after that Knights Templar group there. Probably gonna intercept some stuff on the way. I noticed that guy's name is Gargamel. So he apparently thinks they're Smurfs here or something. And a 15,000 man group of Georgians just joined in our little battle there. And now they're down to 10,000. Whatever. At this point, I noticed that there's almost 10,000 troops down there on that island. And I'm starting to get a little bit concerned that I might not get down there in time to actually save the siege to prevent them from getting any war score. So I'm going to load these guys into a ship. Not really paying attention to the fact that it's probably not going to matter either way. And there's some Knights of Calatrava right there that I get a little bit concerned about, but they're not necessarily a huge issue. Aside from the fact that they seem to be mostly heavy cavalry, at least a large proportion of them are heavy cavalry, which means that they have I expected the Georgians to come with me, but they didn't. And now they're actually doing it now. Here we intercept the ones from there, and one of the French vassals or whatever lands on something. And here I noticed that the flag changed a little bit, and I'm like, wait a minute, hang on. He's the same guy, but he converted to Ibadi. At least I think he's the same guy. And I think about that, I'm like, The rest of them don't convert. So, yeah, here I actually do call the Prince of Permin, but I don't know where he actually ever shows up or anything like that. I've got this mostly under control. I mean, what's the worst that could happen, really? There's quite a lot of knights there. That's definitely something to be concerned about. They're moving away, so I decided to chase the other group. And I decided to just leave them there. See where they're going. And as I kind of expected, they come back in. Looks like Cumania wants to join. I have no problem with that. There we go. That's what I was waiting for them to get into a position where I can catch them. The Pope adds some more kindling. And their Byzantium has a 20,000 man stack there, which could really ruin my day if it was allied with the rest of them, but they're not. They're not doing anything. They're actually fighting Georgia though, which I didn't notice at the time. But I'm not allied with them in that war, so. Here I get an event to increase my learning. And I figure out that comments aren't so bad after all. This is a joke referring to the comment-cited event, which is in a lot of the games, a lot of the Paradox games. It's actually in EU4 as well. It makes you lose stability. So here I pick the only option I have left, which is to have a daughter. Not a bad option, gives you some piety. And oh wait, hey, wait a minute, hang on. The worst thing happens. And that event basically is the same as any of the other ones. And you'll notice it starts at 100%. I'm like, what? Why did it start like that? And I look and I'm offering peace and it's like, no. But I don't know why it started like that. It's probably just a bug. You'll notice that they start as Shia. So it's one of the reasons I have no problem with leaving the rest of the Muslim people on the Indian subcontinent and Asia as Muslim, because the Timurids start as Muslim. So here I'm just trying to do a preliminary, not reform these guys, kind of assessment of where my troops are and where I need to move them. They show up in Khiva, which is probably for the best, because if I lose, they actually get Khiva instead of, Persia. And I'm thinking, it looks like they're going after Samarkand, so I focus most of my troops towards Samarkand and Herat, which is where their other stack is going. I realize I don't really have the stack composition in the area to actually get everything, because a lot of my dudes in the south are in the mountains, which means it takes a long time for them to move out. A lot of the Timurids, though, are just standing there, which could work out in our favor if they don't start moving. Right now they have about 100 and... Here I'm trying to count them. They have 160,000 troops, roughly. Maybe a little bit more or less. I don't go into the exact numbers. Here's one of the things that they meant when they put in the patch notes. They have fewer but smaller stacks. You can see there's several stacks there that have smaller amounts. They have fewer but more stacks, I should say. So they end up with the same amount of troops. 160,000 is roughly what the other Mongols showed up with, I believe. And here we put guys in charge. I actually put the king in charge because it's very important. And, well, if he dies in battle with the most glorious of opponents, there's no one's going to fault him for that. Here I put Maziar in charge of another group there, and those are the groups that are actually going to be attacked. So I put guys in charge there and nowhere else. I don't actually remember to do anything with mercenaries at this point. And here's where I realize that Rome actually holds this, and I'm, well, you know what, let's just do a white peace, and they accept it, so it's a victory for me. I basically want to get the 30,000 or so troops I still have left over there over to here, even though they're probably never going to make it. Now, troop composition-wise, as you can see, they've switched their focus to Khiva from Samarkand. So I switch my troops from going there to going there, and they switch their southern troops to Samarkand instead of Herat. So I keep the guys going to Herat still going there for the most part, because the ones in the south have to do that. So they fail in their crusade, and we get the amount of troops we have there. Disbanding our smaller fleet because it's not going to help, obviously. And this takes a lot of questioning of myself, micromanagement, to really figure out how I'm going to do this. I don't really have good leaders this time, and you can't rely on luck in these situations. I mean, I captured the one Mongol leader there. And you know, I'm second guessing all of my placements and things like that. And eventually, it comes down to just having to do that. And Bouchard's host, I decline for now. You know, I'll lose 100 prestige for that because I don't need a distraction at the moment. In reality, though, I probably could have used my troops there. Here I'm deciding if I actually do want to divert my troops elsewhere. And eventually I'm going to check my numbers to figure out when I'm actually going to get places and figure out that I've got to lose one of these battles. There's no choice in the matter. Because I just don't have enough troops in the area to begin with. If I had started with troops in those furthest 3 provinces, they would have basically died immediately. Because they don't have the... if I outnumbered them, it would win, but, like, you don't get a bonus for that. They spawn as... I believe they spawn as the defenders, so I don't know. I've never had much luck doing that because of the amount of troops there. I'm already losing some guys to attrition there. So, here I'm noticing that they're going to get there mostly in late July. And he's not going to get out of there until August, so there's no reason to leave. And my heir is actually there, and I think, you know, maybe I can disband them. And I decide that that's not a good idea. I might as well just inflict some casualties with that and do what I can. But I stopped diverting any troops to there for now. I still am moving my troops to Merv, and here I think I've got a good advantage, so I decided to move Danush and his good guys to there, and they're gonna fight that battle there. And they actually show up piecemeal, which I didn't realize was kind of a consequence of them having the smaller stacks. Is that'll happen? And that's definitely a losing battle there in Samarkand. And my heir is there, so we'll see what happens to him if he ends up being unlucky. I decided to put another group of leaders there, just in case. And yeah, we kill a guy. We lose the battle. Kokhand, I guess, is the city in Samarkand. And we're winning that battle up there, so I think maybe I can deploy my guys from Bukhara over there. And well, I don't do that. And I still haven't there. I actually hit the troops in Samarkand with another group, which was a big mistake. But I have that 30,000 man group there that I am considering sending there, but then I realized that it's kind of a lost cause anyway. Here I'm trying to determine whether I want to actually do anything about this or not. And I decide in the end that it's not worth it to try to do that. I just lost 2 stacks basically for that. And there's a 40,000 man stack up there that is going to be a problem here in a minute. And I'm thinking about this, and I decide to send everybody down there. Go all in on this one. And you notice they start splitting up their stack over there. I don't believe that they actually will regenerate their stuff. And I think about making a new unit out of this, but then I just decide, you know. And I don't remember why I didn't send the troops from Merv into there. And I realize that they're actually going to Merv. And that there isn't any reason for me to send them that way, because they're not going to get there in time. And 60,000 men defending in the mountains in Merv with a pretty good supply limit and some pretty good fortresses, which don't actually affect the defensiveness of troops for some stupid reason. But yeah, I think my chances are pretty good. So I stick with the plan here of defending Merv and chasing after these guys with my big stack, and they stop again. So I decided, well, I'm going to do that. And I noticed that I can actually get that last point of military organization. And I check to see if I can build retinues, and I in fact can. So I built another group of horse archers. Like, you know what? I'll send them over. And notice I haven't paid any attention. Here I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, hang on. I could just make more guys. So I hire all of the mercenaries in the world who are not automatically under the auspices of the Mongols, which the guys who I am not able to hire are. And, yeah, my money goes away pretty quickly. So, I have a 103,000 man army ready to go. I'm going to send them over. It takes them a while to get there, but they actually do participate in the fighting for whatever that's worth. So here they're actually focusing on Kiva now. And I'm wondering, well, why would they do that? And it doesn't really matter, because I attack out of the province first and actually get to them. And, well, I get stuck between a rock and a hard place, and the hard place being 10,000 men ending up in the province. And they go to Kiva, which is where another army is. I don't think I catch all of them. Here, I'm checking on my other guys. I don't do anything with the guys over in Greece at this point, because I just plain forgot about them. I'm so stressed. And you notice that both Danush and Maziar are in this army, plus the king of Arabia. So it's a pretty dire situation if the people get killed there. And it's attacking. At one point, he's sending both of those two stacks on either side of that province to go kill them. I don't think here to split the stack and go after both, because I'm figuring, I've got that other stack down there that I can do something with. And we're at 58% war score here. That's pretty damn good. It hasn't even been that long. So my spy master gets killed, and that's how war goes. Replace them really quickly. And here you'll notice my mercenaries are down to 71,000, and I noticed that my money is down to 7,800. And well, I decide I need to get them under control pretty quickly. A number of troops down there drop below 100,000, and my Mobad dies. So, things are going pretty well. I notice my war score is at 100% now. We declined to help them with Bouchard's host again, losing another 100 prestige. I decided I definitely need to kill their Doom stack, so that they can't do anything else, which is what I proceed to do. I could end the war now, but, I don't. So that turned out pretty well.